What's up everybody, this is Lyle with No Hippie Barbecue. What I'm going to be doing today is we're going to be making some bang bang shrimp. We're going to be using our t-fal Actifry. If you like shrimp, this is a recipe you should definitely try out. Anyway, let's take a look at what our ingredients are. Okay, so our ingredients, first of all, the star of the show, I have some 16-20 count shrimp, and those are peeled and deveined. I also just threw a little bit of salt on there with some dried basil and had that in the refrigerator for just a couple hours. For our sauce, we're going to need is a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. We're going to be using a couple tablespoons of chili sauce. This is kind of a commercial branded chili sauce. I bought that because it was on sale. Typically I would buy that from an Asian market. We're going to use about a tablespoon of honey and about a teaspoon of rice vinegar. And we're also going to hit it with a little bit of Siracha sauce. So that's going to be our sauce. For our batter, we are going to be using, in this bowl, I have a 3/4 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of cornstarch. We're also going to add an egg to it. We're going to add a little bit of this Siracha sauce, some salt and pepper to taste, and then we are going to be using Panko bread crumbs once we're done dipping it in this. Anyway, my first step, get this sauce made. Let's get to it. So the sauce is pretty simple. All we're going to do is add these ingredients to our mayonnaise. So we have a couple tablespoons of chili sauce. I'm just kind of eyeballing that. We have 1 tablespoon of honey. Looks good to me. A teaspoon of rice vinegar. And Sriracha sauce. And that's going to be to taste. As a matter of fact, this whole thing is to taste. Now that we have all these ingredients in, all we're going to do is whisk it up. Once I'm done whisking it, we're going to put this in the refrigerator and we're going to work on that batter. Sauce made, let's get on to this batter. Now I already have in this bowl 3/4 cups of flour and a 1/2 cup of cornstarch. Now we're going to go ahead and add in our buttermilk, and that's 1 cup of buttermilk. And our egg. And our seasoning. I'm just going with the salt, pepper, garlic mix. That is our batter. We have our sauce chilling in the refrigerator. We got our batter made. I have my Panko breadcrumbs. I did go ahead and add a little bit of basil, dried basil to those breadcrumbs. We're just going to go ahead and dip these shrimp one at a time. We're going to go from our batter to our breadcrumbs. And we're just going to set them on this wire rack. One thing I did forget to kind of mention along this is a little bit of a tip. Only do a little bit of this Panko breadcrumbs at a time. I would say use about enough for four shrimp at a time on this just to keep it from clumping up. And I went ahead and did 16 of these shrimp. Let's get over to the Actifry. First thing I want to do is make sure that this Actifry is plenty hot before we get our shrimp in there. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and add about a little bit under a tablespoon of this Sang stir fry oil. And this was given to me by another YouTube channel by the name of The Root Boy Cooks. I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the iCard above and the description below. We're going to go ahead, shut this down, and we're going to let it run for about 5 minutes. We're not going to be using the paddle in this cook because I don't want the paddle to knock the breadcrumbs off spinning it around. Now that we got this Actifry hot, we're going to make sure that our oil is coating the full bottom. Now we're going to go ahead and add our shrimp to it. You know what, that's perfect. We're gonna do 8 per batch. Now I'm gonna go ahead and spray the top of these with some, whatever kind of a cooking oil spray you like to use. And that's just so it doesn't have that dry look when we're done cooking it. Let's shut it down. We're about 5 minutes in on this, and it's time to go ahead and flip them. They look like they're starting to get some good color. Typically I would go ahead and use these rubber tongs to flip them when I'm using my Actifry, but I don't want to knock off any of that coating, so we're just going to do it with our fingers. And we'll check it again in another 3 or 4 minutes. About another 5 minutes has gone by. Looks like our color's good on them. I'm going to go ahead and get that sauce out, and we're going to plate this up. Now that we have the shrimp cooked, all we're going to do, we're going to go ahead, add it to a bowl. This is almost going to be kind of like the same concept of chicken wings or something like that. So we have it added to our bowl. I'm going to go ahead and spoon on some of this sauce, and we're going to toss it gently with this spoon. Alright, so let's take a taste and see if this Actifry did its job on these bang bang shrimp. Those have some good flavor to them. This would be an air fry, low oil recipe. I think this turned out great. Now I did do a bang bang shrimp that I liked a little bit more. I used a tempura batter on it and I deep fried those. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link to that video in the iCard above in the description below. Run by there and take a look at that one. Anyway, to be as healthy as this is, I think this is a nice little recipe. Anyway, I'm going to finish eating this. Thanks for stopping by No Hippie Barbecue. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.